Words can bring you power. Words can bring you pain. Words can bring you peace. Words can bring you prosperity. Words of your mind. Words of your heart. Words of your family. Words of your friends. Words of your foes. Words of your fans. The words of M24 bring you peace, power, and prosperity.
Everyone got different versions of me. Somebody tell you I'm great. Somebody tell you I'm rich, and somebody say that I ain't. She probably call me a cheater. The other one probably call me a babe. Some probably say I'm a shook one, and some probably say that I'm brave.
Yes guys, what's good? Welcome to Engineer's YouTube channel. I'm Joe. Today we'll be training for pull, ultraflex Durham. So strap in and get ready. Let's get after it. Yeah, so an exercise I always like to start with on pull would be a straight arm pull down. Just one working set to true failure. The reason I would always look to start your pull sessions with this movement, for me it's just like an opener, so I like to use it to warm up the lats, warm up like the shoulder girdle, because we know the shoulder girdle is going to be involved in any pulling movements, but it opens up all the rhomboids, sartorius, traps. It's just a way to get blood in the muscle, open everything up, and then move on to our more compound lifts. So I always like to start my pull session with a single arm lat pull down. So for me, at the start of the session when you've got the most amount of energy, unilateral works probably best. I think a lot of people struggle with lat width opposed to lat, like sort of overall back thickness. So for me, like this is a replica of the Nautilus pull down. It's probably the best single arm pull down I think that there is on the market, or the Nautilus version. So the key here really is, I think a lot of people think that when you're doing an exercise like this, you're trying to isolate. I really don't think that you're trying to isolate anything. I think the back, I always say the back works like cogs. So if you're trying to turn this cog here, you might have 4 or 5 cogs here that get to this one that all need to move at the same time. So when we're performing a lat pull down, there's so many different connections to the point of getting to the lat. You need to think as the back is working like there's like a whole thing, starting at the hand, into the arm, into the shoulder, then into the lat. So don't try and think about working in like this range of motion. Try and think about like extending like elbow out, but give it a little stretch. Like don't restrict your scapula so much that you're literally just working ear to ear. Like don't be afraid to go to ear a little bit. I'm not trying to overextend, because then that'll ask for like retraction. Just a little bit, allow the stretch on the lat and then come and pull it down. Yeah. I know so many people that are like scared of going into a rep range higher than like 12 reps. I think there's so much merit for working in a rep range from 12 to 20. You'll see today on the session when I go to train biceps, my first set's like 20-25 reps just to drive blood. And we know like blood carries nutrients, which is so important during our session. People are just so scared to work in a high rep range in case they burn too many calories or burn away muscle, whatever it is. This TikTok generation that are scared to work above 4 or 5 reps, like there's a place for 6 to 9, 10 to 12, but I'm a big believer in a 10 to 15 across all the back offs really. So don't be afraid to work in reps over 10. Certain movements even up to 20 reps, so I definitely think there's merit for it. I'd love to know what people do when they put plates on machines. Like for me, I always put them on back to front. Like I'll never have the writing facing outwards if I can avoid it. So you'll have to drop a comment below and let me know if you put the plates on the machine with the writing facing out or the writing facing in. So once we've done our single arm lat pull down work, I'll always move into some kind of upper back chest support movement. For me, at least in this gym, the Gym Leco T-bar is probably my favourite T-bar, favourite upper back movement. So here we're looking for scapular retraction, protraction. So basically we're looking for shoulder blades to open up and come back together. Chest support, so we want to keep it on the pad. We don't want to see spinal flexion. I don't want to see people like kicking it. We want to look for proud chest driving into the pad and then pulling shoulder blades up. So whereas on single arm lat pull down, I'm thinking about elbow drive. For me personally, when it comes to like an upper back movement, I'm thinking more about pulling my triceps back towards whatever's behind me, because for me that works more rear delt and upper back. Whereas if I think about elbow drive, it makes me think about lat more. So for me, I think about pulling triceps back.
Big fucking back, let's go. Yes! Come on!
I definitely think there's a fine line at the moment between sort of overanalyzing training from a form standpoint, an execution standpoint, and then ultimately like an intensity standpoint. You'll probably notice in my training I definitely kind of sit in the middle. I definitely execute with a form of precision. I'm definitely thinking about cues, spending time in a stretch and in a contraction, but not to the point where it's detracting from ultimately the intensity of the session or of the set. I do rather favour to see somebody higher intensity, but we do need to be conscious of how we execute the movement. Like we don't want to be executing to the point where there is no stimulus going into that muscle. But we don't want to be overthinking to the point where we're not putting any stimulus in it at all. So don't be afraid of a little bit of rip and grip, but you need to still be aware of how you're actually performing the movement. So now we're moving on to what I would call like a lower lat row. So this hammer strength piece, the Dorian Yates underhand row, is for me probably the best lower lat builder that there is. The person that got me onto it was actually Brian Ansley. So I seen him do it like 2018. I was like, fuck, like his lower lats are so thick, and he swears by this movement. So obviously we started off with the lat single arm pull down. We moved on to an upper back T-bar row chest supported. So we've kind of done width and thickness, but we now need, for me, especially in classic, like those rear double bicep shots, they really do win shows. So I favour this lower lat row massively. So we're looking to build lower lat, single arm again. I think lat work needs to be unilateral. It has to be. So let's get after it. So I think one discussion I had with Billy around failure is true failure doesn't have to be excessive, over the top screaming, wriggling of the body. When you see a lot of people fail and actually fail, a lot of the time it actually doesn't look externally like they failed at all. But if you've got a very good internal connection with the muscle and you know how to take a muscle to true failure, externally it won't look like that at all, but internally the muscle will just, it's almost like a light goes out, and then when you can't really complete that last full rep, you know you've hit true failure. I like to use these little clips whenever the start position is too much of an extreme stretch. A little tip I give is try and use like clips like these. So what it'll do is it'll basically allow the start position to be a little bit less aggressive. It'll give you an opportunity to wrap in, and then all you need to do is release the clips, allow the stretch, and then initiate the movement. So you can do it on the back, on like back movements, but you can also do it on pressing movements. So instead of starting like all the way back here with a lot of potential emphasis on rotator cuff and delt, you can start the position here and then press from there. So it's just a safety thing. It also doesn't allow you to use too much energy where it's not needed. Yeah. So after I've trained all of my back pretty much now, so we've obviously done single arm pull down for lats, chest supported T-bar for upper back, the Dorian Yates underhand row for lower lat, and then we did the hammer strength low to high row for basically trap for upper back as well. I will isolate rear delt. I do think it's necessary. I think you want that full 3D delt look, you do need to isolate your rear delt. Obviously, fortunately, we've got this piece from Prime, which obviously you can change the strength stack on. Again, I think guys paralyse themselves with overthinking this too much. So essentially, just to break it down in layman's terms, this is obviously like my last back movement before moving on to arms. So I will use setting 5 so it drops off in the contraction, because by this point I've done a lot of work for my back. So in order to get the muscle fully contracted, I do need to allow it some drop off. So I won't warm up on this. I've done a lot of work for rear delt anyway, you could argue. So this is just a finisher to really isolate dry blood. So 2 sets here. I do like to do a drop set as well. Maybe too much volume, but ain't no bitch. So whenever I start on arms, when I'm in pull, I'll always do a preacher curl movement to start, essentially because it's supported, so it's not going to allow us to use any momentum or body English. It's going to allow us to really target the bicep, but also it's going to allow us to target it in the shortened range. So if you want to get technical, when it comes to training arms, you want to train it in the shortest range first, because that's going to be the hardest to get the muscle contracted, and then as you go through bicep movements, you want to move from a short movement like preacher curl into like a long stretcher movement, which is what we'll do next, which will be like a standing D-handle cable curl. But what you'll have noticed, and I said this before earlier in the session, is my warm-up set on my first set on here will be 20-25 reps. And this is like a little technique I like to use for anybody who's like lagging with arms, triceps or biceps. Your first exercise, make sure it's a higher rep movement, higher rep set, and that way you're going to allow to drive blood into the muscle, and it's going to allow for a much better mind-muscle connection. So the 2 working sets after that will be of a 10 to 15 rep range. So 20-25 reps dry blood, mind-muscle connection, and then 2 failure sets of 10 to 15. My name is Joe Richardson. I'm 30 years old and I am an amateur classic physique athlete going for his IFB pro card. So I've been in the gym since I was 16, so I've been training for 14 years total. But when I turned 23, I started really pursuing bodybuilding, taking it seriously, and cutting out all the noise and literally dedicating myself to bodybuilding for the last 7 years. I haven't took a holiday in that 7-year period. Like, that's how much I've been committed to trying to achieve my pro card. So I did my first show in 2018 where I placed 6th. I came back in 2021, I did my first NPC show. I won the class and I just missed out on the overall. I did the Arnold Classic UK, the first one, the same season, where I came 12 out of 24, so I got my arse handed to me. But that humbled me though, and that gave me the drive to come back in 2023, where I won my first overall NPC. So I won the whole show in the classic physique. I then went to Norway and London, and both of those shows I came 2nd in the class. So that was the best I'd ever done in a pro qualifier. And then the best season to date was last year, 2024. So I won another NPC regional overall in classic physique. I then won my class in Milan against 24 other athletes and came arguably 2nd in the overall, so just missed out on my pro card. I then went to London a week later, where I came 3rd in the class, which was a little bit disappointing, but we took it on the chin. And then I went to France 2 weeks after that, where I won my class again, and then just missed out in the overall. So I did actually definitely come 2nd in that overall, because I got told by the head judge that it literally was a hairline between me and the winner. So I'm taking 2025 off, just to give my mind and my body a bit of a rest, and then I will be competing in 2026 where I will be turning IFBB Pro. A bit of a backstory. I've known Riz for around 6 years, 7 years. So I actually knew Riz from the JP members site, the forums. Him and Dan Bastic were two of the people on there that actually gave me the genuine time of day. When I had any questions, they would reply. So I've known of Riz since then. I just believe everything that Riz and D both stand for, with the brand and with themselves as people, and that reflects in me as an athlete. Why bodybuilding? I think for me, bodybuilding, it bit me to the point where I was just hooked. Like all through life, I've been mediocre at everything. I was kind of mediocre in school. I was mediocre at other sports. But something about bodybuilding, when I got into it, it just clicked. I just got drawn into learning about nutrition, training, how it's a constant evolution of being better as an athlete. You only have yourself to rely on. You get out what you put in. You don't have to rely on anybody else. And I think everything that you learn in bodybuilding, it transitions to outside life. And I think I made a post on this. When I see somebody with a great physique, yeah, the physique is cool, but it tells me a lot about the individual, about the respect they have for themselves and the discipline that they have within their life. So for me, bodybuilding runs so much deeper than the physique. It's a mindset and it's a lifestyle. Top 3 favourite products from Engineered. I'll be honest, it's hard for me to nail down 3. But if I'm going to use 3 that I use on a daily basis and that are like genuinely specific to Engineered, it would have to be Amino Swole, so the injectable pre-workout. I think that is absolutely fantastic. Hepatic and cardiac, but I'm going to put that as one. So I think they come together as a great organ support. And I would have to say Turbo Dreams. I think sleep is paramount, absolutely paramount. That being said, guys, I'm very proud to be a part of the Engineered team. Very proud to wear this brand, wear it on my chest with pride. So that's been a pull session with me. I hope you saw what it takes to be a very high level amateur classic physique athlete going for his pro card. That's how I would structure a pull session. That is the intensity, the accuracy that it requires to build that level of physique. And obviously, Engineered, that's what it stands for, man. Hard work, commitment, being relentless. And although I haven't achieved my goal yet, that doesn't sway me from what I do. I love what I do. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And it always will be about this environment. Like, the gym is what it is for me. Training is so much more than just the 2 hours. It's the mental release. And I will make sure that 2026 I achieve that IFBB program.